What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, and I am fired up because today we are going to be talking about something that I'm working on, but also something that I think anyone who is building a niche property is focusing on most of the time, and that is good old-fashioned keyword research. All right, that is something that you're going to be doing for a long time. All right. And once we get everything built, it comes down to coming up with more content ideas, which come from good keywords. And then from there, writing the content, publishing, optimizing, and then rinsing and repeating. Like that is everything that it takes to build a niche property when you get the thing initially built. Yes, we have to validate our niche. And yes, we have to come up with our name, and we have to buy a domain name, and we have to create our website. And then we have to get WordPress installed. It's, the basic stuff to get the house built, really. It's right. Like that's our home base now, right? That's what I call that. But once we get that set up, it's all about keyword research. And what I'm going to be sharing with you today is something that I actually outlined for an upcoming training that I'm going to be teaching. So again, this is going to be kind of off the cuff. I'm going to be spitballing a little bit here with you guys today and kind of going through it so I can actually say it out loud. And you guys are going to be able to kind of listen in on what I'm going to be teaching, but I'll also share the ideas behind what I'm going to be sharing. And I'll obviously give you what you can do without actually being able to kind of sit down, open up my laptop, and kind of start digging through. But what we're calling this, and I say we, me and Chris Schaefer, we've been talking a lot about this. We're calling it the keyword goldmine. And one of the reasons why I'm calling it that is because everyone can relate to a gold mine, right? And gold miners. But that's really kind of what we're doing. The other selfish reason why I'm doing it is because I'm a huge fan of Gold Rush. I've been watching it since season 1. And I just love the idea of going out there and finding a piece of land that potentially has some gold, and then we drill some test holes, and then from there we find some rich ground that has good potential, and then we got to dig it up, we got to sluice it, and we got to clean it up, and we got to see what we got at the end of the day. It's kind of what we're doing here. So that's why I love using, the gold mining terminology, and that's why I decided to call this training, when we do end up creating it, is the keyword gold mine, all right? Or keyword gold mining. Haven't decided yet on that, but there's 3 strategies, okay? There's 3 strategies. So no matter if you're brand new, if you are, maybe new, but yet you already are going and you're building, maybe you're 3 months in, good for you on these strategies, or I'm going to give you at least one strategy. And then once we get going and we get some momentum, well, now we have to continually fill the hopper, if you will, with some fresh dirt, right? And we have to sift it or sluice it, and we got to see what we got. And that's what we're doing, okay? That's what we're doing here. So let me kind of go through these 3 different strategy breakdowns, and I'm looking at my outline right now, and I'm going to go through, and again, it might be a little bit random, so bear with me, but I think it'll be beneficial for you to kind of listen in on these strategies, and I'll break them down on what they look like and how you would utilize these. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, Scott, I would love to learn more about keyword research, then the only way that you really can get notified about this right now, because I don't even have anything set up. I don't have a page set up or anything for it. We'll most likely be rolling this out to our Brand Creators Academy members first, and we will probably make this a standalone product or a course. But if you want to hear more about it and you're not yet on my email list, that's going to be the best way to hear about this and potentially get access to it, is head on over to takeactioncrew.com. Again, that's takeactioncrew.com. And that's the place where you can join my email list. And when you join my email list, I will send out emails with tips, strategies, and I'll let you know of things like this that are coming up around the corner. All right. So again, takeactioncrew.com. All right. So let's kind of dig in here. When you have a brand new website, we need to start somewhere, right? We need to start somewhere. And so what I like to do, and this is like strategy number 1, which I'm calling the Q&A strategy or the question strategy. And what we're going to do is we are going to go after questions only. All right. We're not going to go after product posts. We're not going to go after how-to posts. We're going to go after question posts. Question, answer. All right. What is Google? It's a search engine to answer questions for the most part. Yes, you can search for products and all that stuff. But usually if you're looking for a product nowadays, where do you go? Amazon, eBay, Etsy, right? Those are the big three. I don't even think most people are going to Walmart. They're going to Amazon, they're going to Etsy, they're going to eBay. Like that's the three main ones where people are going to. So we need to understand that it is built for questions, right? Google. So why don't we just start there, right? And a lot of our success with traffic has come from these questions. All right. So that's where we want to start. But if you're brand new, you're thinking, well, how do I start? I don't even know where to start. Start with the main seed keyword. Okay. The main seed keyword. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at questions, right? So one way of doing this is use a tool. There's a free tool out there, Ubersuggest, and you can actually do a 7-day free trial. I'm not affiliated with them. They don't even offer an affiliate program because I would be, because I use it all the time and I recommend it all the time. So I would use Ubersuggest, and this is what I would do. Okay. And again, I'll be breaking this down in this training once we do teach it, which I haven't taught yet. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to go into Ubersuggest and you're going to put in your main seed keyword. So it might be bass fishing. It's as simple as that, like bass fishing or deep sea fishing, right? Something like that. Or keto, all right? Or just whatever the main thing is, put that in. That's a great way to start. Then what we're going to do is we're going to click on keywords or keyword ideas. And then what we're going to do is we are going to we're going to click on the questions tab. There's a little questions tab there. And then what that's going to do is give us all of the questions that are being asked. Now, we could stop right there and you can go, okay, cool. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and start there and let's see what we get, which is great. But if you're brand new, we probably are going to have a tough time going up against some of the bigger sites. So how can we look at just the low competition keywords? Well, there's a little thing there on the right-hand side of that view where you see it says DA, which is your domain authority. And also there is a little tab there that also tells you the SEO difficulty, the difficulty of that keyword. And you'll see that if it's green, that means that it's low. If it's yellow or orange, I forget what it is now, it's going to be a little bit harder. And then if it's starting to get in the red, it's going to be harder. All right. And it usually goes from like 0 to 35, then 36 to maybe 50 something. And it just kind of graduates up. All right. So what you can do here, there's a little filter that you could just click on and say, I only want to see keywords that are between 0 and 35 for low competition. And that's it. You're done. And now you look at those questions and then you see which ones make sense for your niche property. And then you go ahead and you create that list and you go ahead and start writing those. Like that's the simplest way to kind of find those keywords. Now, the other thing that you can do, and you'll probably discover while you're going through this little question strategy, is you're also going to see probably that there's certain questions that are being asked or the way that they're being said, right? Can you catch bass in a pond, right? So then what I would do is maybe go over to Google and type in, can you catch bass, and let it auto suggest. Now you're going to get some additional questions or ones that were already found, but maybe you're going to find a few more. And that's another way that you're going to find questions. All right. So that's the basics of strategy number one, the Q&A strategy. All right. Because we're going to do a question, we're going to do an answer. Okay. So again, I'm not going to go into all of the details on how we would really analyze what would make the best keywords, but that's how you would find them. And then obviously we have to send them through the hopper. We've got to, sluice them, and we got to see, at the end when we clean everything up, we got to see which ones make the most sense and which ones do we think are going to be the easiest. Because even though it comes up as a 0 to 35, I still want to look at that keyword and see the sites that are ranking and see which ones I think I could outrank. All right, and see what their content looks like. So there's more digging that needs to be done there, or a little bit of cleanup, let's say. But that is the main strategy. That's what we're going to do. So that's number one, the Q&A strategy. All right. So now the next one, this is a really interesting one, and I'm calling this right now, I may change the name. It's called localizer strategy. Okay. Now the localizer strategy is where we're going to look at more local stuff. So here's an example. Best bass fishing in Florida. Best bass fishing in Utah, right? And then you would just go down the list. Now, you're going to have to do a little bit of digging in your niche. This may work, it may not, all right? But I have tried this, and I have looked at even some of my student stuff. It usually can be done. It just might have to be done in a little bit of a different way. The other thing is we can even go a little bit deeper. So let's just say that you have a fishing site and you were going to do this for best bass fishing in Florida, whatever, and keep going down the list of states or even towns or cities. Best bass fishing in, maybe then what we do is we mix up and we change, instead of it being best bass, we go best trout, right? We fill that in with something else. Best fly fishing. Right? And so we can mix that up, right? Best striper fishing, right? Like all of these different types of fishing, we can then plug in that and then go down that road of localized stuff. All right. And again, that's the high level of this. Now, once we get into that, we're going to be able to kind of explore, all right, other sites that are also doing this, and then we can learn from them. And that's where we would really dig into that. But this is also what we call like keyword veins, because we can find a whole bunch of these, right? And the vein would be best bass fishing, all right? So best bass fishing, but then in Florida. So that would be the, that vein that we'd be going in, but also the bass fishing is part of that. If we wanted to pick a different vein, we would go best, not bass, it would be maybe best trout fishing, right? Or fly fishing. That'd be another vein. And then we would drill down to that one and, clean that one out. Okay. So that's the localizer strategy. Pretty simple, but it works. And a lot of people would say, well, yeah, but does it work? I mean, there's already local businesses that are doing that. You're right. That's why we have to do that research. If you do that and you see like 10 different local, bait shops that are there's a good chance you're probably not going to beat them, and it's going to take up a whole bunch of space. So it might not be worth it to do it in that scenario. All right. So that's number 2, localizer strategy. All right. Now, the third one, I'm calling the scraper strategy. All right. The scraper strategy. And this is where we're really going to somewhat spy on our competition. All right. Now, this works really well if you currently have a website. But if you don't, we can also utilize this if we're brand new. So let me explain how this would work. What we're going to look for as we're doing our keyword research is we're going to look for lower domain authority sites. Okay, so those low domain authority sites would be the DA score that they give it in Ubersuggest. And so basically we're looking at that because if they rank for certain content, there's a good chance that we could probably rank. So if you're brand new, I'm going to be looking at sites that are also somewhat brand new, right? I'm going to identify these sites in my niche that are either coming up or maybe created something and then let the site go, but they're still ranking for these different content ideas or keywords. And so then what I would do is I would make a list of everything that they're ranking for, because their domain authority might be a 5 and your site's brand new. If they're a 5, they're pretty much 0 in a sense. Yes, they have a little bit, but they don't have much. And if you create a better piece of content, you can probably outrank them. So that's what I would do also as a new niche property builder. I would look at that. Now, here's the other cool thing though. Let's say that you have been doing this now for about a year and your domain authority on your site is a 20 or a 25. So now what I would do is the exact same thing, but now I can level it up a little bit and go, you know what? I'm going to find sites that are ranking that have a domain authority of a 25 or less, and then I'm going to go ahead and cherry pick their content. Right now, the guys over at Niche Website Builders, actually the ones that I'm working with on one of my sites, and actually Adam will be coming back on the podcast soon, and we're also going to do a private session inside of our BCA Academy. But they have something they call tomb rating, which is very similar to what I'm saying. They're a little bit more elaborate on their process and how they do this, but mine is pretty straight up. It's like literally do a search in Ubersuggest, try to find some sites that have a domain authority of 25 or less, or whatever yours is, but less, right? Find out what content they are ranking for right now, and then you learn from that and then get ideas and inspiration and model what has already been working for them. There's proof that's already been done. It's kind of like they've drilled all of the test holes out there, and there's 3 of them that were really good. It's like we go, oh, you know what? We're not going to drill those 7 over there because you already did it and you proved that that's not good. But the 3 over here that you did are good. So let's go ahead and let's use those test holes. It's exactly what we're doing. We're letting them do the work, and for us to come back and really scrape that and say, all right, we're going to go and use that, that information that we learned from doing this, right? So that's why I think it takes a little bit of time to do it. But once you take your website, so a great way to do this too is in Ubersuggest or Ahrefs. If you're in Ubersuggest, there's a little tab there that you can look at sites similar to, and then you can put in your website, and it'll give you like 10 different websites that have similar content. And then what you can do is take those and look at the domain authority and see what content that they're ranking for, what kind of traffic they're getting, and all of those things. And we've done this, and it works really, really well. Super well. And so it just cuts down on guessing, and you're really going after stuff that can rank because they've already proven it. All right. So that's the scraper strategy. Spy on the competition a little bit in an ethical way, and go after lower domain authority content or sites, and then look at their content that's ranking. All right. So that's the scraper strategy. All right. Now, another one, and this is our bonus one that I'm going to be sharing. And I'm not going to give too much away here on this, but I'm calling it the on-TV keyword method. All right. That's what I'm calling it right now. I might mix that up, but the on-TV keyword method. If there is any shows or content about shows in your market, that right there, my friends, is a goldmine. Okay. That is a spot that you definitely want to go over and drill. All right. You want to go over there and drill down into that. We've done that now, and it does not work in every niche. I'll be quite honest with you. It does not. And there is 2 of our sites right now that it does work with. And let me just tell you something. The one that we have been testing this on is driving thousands of visitors now because of this one method or this one strategy. All right. And it's called the on TV keyword method is what I'm calling it. I may mix that up, but really, really, really simple and really, really powerful. And again, once again, I'm going to be sharing this inside of this training. I'm going to actually show you some real examples of what this looks like. So again, if you're interested in attending that, it's not even created yet, or depending on when you're listening to this, it's not. But we're going to create a full training on this, and I'm going to announce it. I'll probably announce it here too, but it'll be later. But I'm going to announce it to my email list. And if you want to jump on that, head on over to takeactioncrew.com. Again, that's takeactioncrew.com. And I'm going to do something pretty crazy with that too. I'm going to make that training really, really good. And I'm going to make it really, really inexpensive, because I want to help people that are currently or just starting to take this out of the mix. But also I think it's going to be a great way for me to get introduced to new people that are doing this that might not know who I am as of right now. So it's going to be a front end offer for me, to be quite honest with you. And I'm going to make it super affordable. So you definitely probably want to get on the email list to be notified on that. Just saying. All right. Let me wrap up with this. What tools are going to be needed? I'm going to cover that as well. But Ubersuggest is, to me, like the easiest, and it's probably the least expensive, and you can get a 30-day trial, I believe. I think it's I think it's a 30-day trial. I'm not 100% sure. It's 7 days or 30 days. I forget. And if you wanted to just do your keyword research in that amount of time, you could and then cancel. Totally could. But I would get it for at least a month. All right. I have it for lifetime. I bought a lifetime license, it's pretty affordable. The other thing is, the other tool is Ahrefs, but I don't really think you need that unless you're already getting some traffic. You're already starting to generate some money, because that there will do keyword research, but I use it more for indexing. I like to see where my stuff is indexing. I like to see that, and looking at existing content, it gives me an idea of what content I can improve and increase, which is, I think, really, really important, because we want to be able to see that the work that we're doing, even though we might not be getting traffic yet, we're getting indexed. And getting indexed means that we're about to get traffic. So I'll be showing that too. I'll be showing both of those tools during this, training that I'm going to be putting together. So that's what we're going to be doing here. I'm also going to go through, like, if you have a brand new site, like, how do we do this? Competition drilling, like I said, how are we going to find these keyword traffic veins? We're going to go more in depth there, but this is the high level view. This is my outline I wrote for myself for this training and things that I'm going to be teaching. So hopefully this has helped you. I tried to break it down as good as I could to give you action steps, which, basically if you just go and do what I just said, you're going to have a really good chance of finding some keywords and getting started. Cause that's the name of the game here, is getting started. So once again, if you are interested in attending this, again, it is not 100% done yet. It's just, in the planning phases, but when it is released, the keyword Goldmine, you're going to want to check that out. And you can do that by heading over and getting on the email list at takeactioncrew.com. I will email you about this when it's ready. And it's going to be pretty awesome. And I can't wait to teach it and to share these different strategies. All right. So guys, that's going to wrap up this episode. If you do want the show notes, you can find them by heading over to the show notes page to this episode number. And you can even watch the video of me on camera if you want to. You don't have to. You don't have to look at me, but right now I'm looking into the camera. So it feels as though I should be looking right at you. And I don't know if I am, because you might be listening only. All right, guys, I got to go. I'm talking too much. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Take care, take action, get out there, make it happen, and I'll see you right back here on the next episode.